message is going to be for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, crosswatchers, anybody that was drawn to this message. So I'm happy to hear from you. Let's flick a light on this side. All right. There's going to be an extended for this. The link for that is in the box below. You can get one extended video at a time on Vimeo. Links for that below. Or you can watch the whole thing with the YouTube and the extended all as one video on the extended membership side of this channel. And it is so cold in my studio that you can see my breath there. It's freezing out here. Let's get it warmed up, Sag. Alrighty, all kinds of stuff on the membership side of the channel. Just go check out what we have. Okay, here we go. Sagittarius, please. The moon, Queen of Swords, Death, Temperance, there you are. And Five of Rods. Okay, so this is the deck that I made, okay? And I'm loving it because I made it for Raven so that you guys could learn how to do tarot. So on each of these cards, there is a couple of keywords to teach you like how to read them quickly. But to me, this looks like this is the Queen of Swords. Absolutely standing on business. She knows what she knows because she has read about it all. Swords are knowledge. That's why I made them books and not swords. Believe it or not, I didn't make them swords. It makes more sense to me to make them books because books is what is written. It's what is true. It is known, right? And there is this death and temperance vibe, meaning the story has ended. It's the last chapter is done, ski. And I guess we're okay with that because in both of these images, she's kind of just this is temperance right here. Maybe she's studying or reading or just, have you ever got lost in an audible? Okay. It's a thing that we do. And it just feels like cozy and comfy and, I think I'm alone now, but to be honest with you, that's okay. It feels like, but that's okay because quiet is better than chaos, because on the bottom of the deck, you have the Five of Rods, which is competition and drama and chaos and all of the things, and the Seven of Pentacles, which is all of the waiting, and 10 of Rods, which is the burden. And you know what? I think this story is played out. It's like she's got her elbow on it. Like I've read this over and over and over again. It's the equivalent of how many times I've watched Game of Thrones on repeat. At this point, it's just the soundtrack in the back of my life. It's just on. Everybody knows the Game of Thrones is on in the house. Okay, it's that kind of vibe. It's just this thing that goes on in the background and has been going on in the background for an eternity. But it's almost like at this point, we're like, okay, we're going to close the book. And it feels calm, cool, and collected. It feels like the right thing to do, to have done, to embrace solitude. You know, the other thing I'm seeing about this moon card is it says that the answer is unknown. And to me, that's like, if you read a book over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you still don't get the point, either it was very poorly written or you're not comprehending the point. And so it's like, you know what? Let's shelve that one. Let's just put it on the shelf. Can we not? Can we not? Can we not do that? How about that? And you find temperance in that. And if you're unfamiliar, what is temperance? It's Goldilocks energy. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Even in this, okay, the water that she's in is calm. Like calm enough to keep your hat on. Have you ever been in rough water? There's no keeping hats on in rough water. The reason the water is rough is on account of all the wind and the chaos and the extra thoughts and all of the things that come along with the symbolism. But to have closed this book and shelved it seems to be a very wise choice indeed. And now we're like, it feels like, now what? Of course, that is Sagittarius energy. Okay, now what? It was quiet for 5 seconds. Now what? What happens next? And it's not that Sagittarians can't stand to be alone, and it's not that we like have ADHD and are spastic and all of that. We like to go. Do the things. Say the things. Experience the things. We do that. It's a centaur. Have you ever been around a horse? Like an actual real life horse? Okay, cool. Now take its head off and put a dude on it. That's a centaur. And then give him a weapon. Have you ever stood next to a horse? Them standing still, they look like they're plotting. They chew and stare and think things in their horse thoughts. But most of the time they kind of, especially when they're out in the open, they kind of do the swaying and the whatever. Ready to make a move is my point about what they do there. Okay, so that's what it feels like. So now what? What's next? Okay, show us. This is the oracle that I made. Okay. Show us what's next or when the next thing is. So we know, like, I think a Sag can handle knowing how long they have to wait or knowing how long the quiet's going to be. We're like, okay, we can do that. Like, we can chill out for 11 days or whatever this is, right? Give us a sign. Oh my goodness. For when the next thing is. Red hair. Mercury. Generational curse. Red hair. Okay, Mercury's communication. Okay, so new moon, which is Thanksgiving in the States. I think it's the day after. Like we all call it Black Friday because that's when all the sales are. It's a black tag sale. Generational curse. If we get to another Sag reading before the next new moon, this would have been the last new moon. I don't really know what the red hair is other than maybe you know someone with red hair. But it feels like berry red, like cherry apple, Harley Quinn style red hair, like that. This could also be that the reason that we needed to close the book on this and put it away was in order to break a generational curse. Seriously. Because, and it feels like, and now we have the yoga, right? That's temperance. It means the same thing. So I think that, I mean, before I go off on a tangent with this forever, it looks like we're going to have a past, present, future reading. Or really, this is past and present right here because you've read the books. You know what happened. You know how it worked out. And it could be really important for somebody who has red hair to see you do this. And it could be some kind of generational curse. Like, let's say that you have to do something important and your daughter is watching you. And it's important to make sure that you make the right decision so that she makes the right decision. Right? That's how you break a generational curse, because it may be something like something in your family that has been going on from generation to generation. It's a toxic thing, like staying with shitty dudes, or I don't know what your family ancestry is, okay? It's not good. And it's important for you to not do that in front of them. They need to see you not. Does that make sense? And it feels important. It's a vibe like that, okay? You have to place yourself wherever you go, but it is important. And the fact is that you've read the book enough times to where you're like, okay. That's what I was saying before. Like, if you don't get the point by now, if you don't know me by now, you will never, never, never know me. All right. So we have Aquarius, Dharma Jane. And drink some water. You know, the Aquarius energy is the rebel energy. And this is me standing here talking about swords up, tits out. What would Dharma Jane do? It depends on who it is. Okay, if we're being real, I'm human, right? But what would I tell you to do? And that would be stand up for yourself and make good choices. You've read the books, all the things that I totally just said just now. And drink some water. It's so funny that I put this particular card in the deck, and the fact that I've only done 3 readings with it so far, and this card has come out like periodically every single time. I think maybe we're all dehydrated. And that makes me laugh and smile. And we're going with that vibe. These are the kinds of things that you're, you know, those are the things you want to pass on to your children. You know, drinking good water and working out, sleeping in, taking vitamins, and you're doing the right thing. Okay? All right. So we have that. We did that. Okay, now what? See, we're back there again. It's like you can look at, see, did you see what I did? It's like I read it again. I read the story again. And it's the same damn outcome. Stop it and drink some water. That's the outcome of the story. You gotta close the book and put it back on the shelf. All right. Okay, we did that. Now let's look into the future. Like what is to come between now and we're say right now, we close the book. It's on the shelf. It's on the shelf. Don't fucking smite us. Okay. We're saying what if. No, we're not saying what if. We're saying we're living as if. We have done that. We did that. It's important and we did it and we're good job. Now what? That's what we want to know. It feels like tell me. New book. Show me the new book. We have a new book. We picked it up off the shelf and we didn't get to read the freaking synopsis on the back. You just put a new book in my hand. What does it say? Oh my God. The synchronicities. Okay, so this is the tarot deck that I just made, right? And the last card is the card that tells you what everything is. It says the candles are rods, flowers are pentacles, books are swords, teacups are cups. But I wrote a little thing and it says, my dear friends, the delicacy of this deck that I call tarot color shows us our purest vibrations. Our purpose is to ascend, to follow the light, and to have a softer earthly experience. May these cards reflect the gentleness of our next chapters. With love, Dharma Jane. Do you see what just happened there? I said several times, tell me what happens. What happens is a gentle chapter. What happens is something better. What happens is, you know, these books that you read in the past, and the reason I did swords as books is because it's knowledge. It's stuff that's written. It is what is. It's written down. And there's plenty of copies everywhere. It can't be erased. It's knowledge, it's history, it's fact. And those may have been like battle books. Like maybe you want to switch from Game of Thrones and House of Dragon and hecking, you know, all of that stuff. And I was going to say switch to like Lord of the Rings, but that's battle-y too. Maybe something less, I don't know, something softer, the softer side of Seers. My point is that whatever is coming is a whole brand new book. And it says, may these, you know, the next chapter is to have a softer earthly experience. Show me what that's like in the next week or so. It's probably kind of lonely. Ten of Swords. That's the end. That's the final chapter. And it could be about an emperor or the father of your children or just the end. Because it's like if we're talking about swords being truths and we're talking about truths being books and books having characters, would you not assume that in order to have a good book that the main character male is not a flaming douchebag? That's right, Lord Grimm. And so you keep reading this book over and over again, hoping that this particular character gets better. But if you've ever written a story or, you know, written on characters, you have to keep the character within character. It's wildly uncommon for a character to have a complete shift in morals ever throughout the lifespan of their character in the book. You will always expect them to be the ones that do the jabbing or the backstabbing in the end because that's what their character does. And it's like the confusion on doing that or the weight or the that's odd. That was Michael. Isn't that a thing when you hear ambulances, it's Michael? So it's like a rescue mission, I guess, but I don't really mean it like that. I think that what we have is someone being like, okay, it could even be several characters. And so we're going to move into the extended and look and see what happens next, because it's like you standing at the damn, you know, in the library with these books of these chapters that don't have good lead characters. The lead character won't lead, and so it leads the story into a circle of shenanigans and tomfoolery. And it's like you have and it's making me anxious, and then you heard the ambulance, and it's like you need to put these books on the shelf. It's an emergency at this point, probably because you're going to miss what's coming next. You heard the ambulance in the background. I live in the middle of nowhere. That never happens. Okay. So let's go to the extended and check that out, what's coming up next, because it does feel important. All right, the links for the extended are in the box below. You can get one at a time on Vimeo or join us for the full extended all together as one video on members. Links in the box below. All right, I love you guys so much. And until next time, Sag, you have a good one. Bye-bye. Bring it back.